Alright, so I just wanted to make this video really quick. Um, it is 12:30, so I'm going to be talking a little quiet so I don't bother my roommates. I probably should have gone to bed by now, but hey, I'm watching an eBay auction and the time zones are a little unfriendly. Um, so when I was surfing the internet, I found what is possibly a weird reason, but I would have an easier time swallowing it than the reason Ubisoft gave of why Watch Dogs is delayed. The reason I don't like the reason Ubisoft gave for delaying the game was it basically looks like they're trying to whore as much money out as possible. They're making it look like, oh, all these big name titles are coming out, Call of Duty, and they don't want to compete with that, so they're going to push it to the season where no other game is coming out. Even though I think Smash Bros. Mario Kart 8 is coming out at the same time. Anyways, so what this person was saying was something about the Xbox Live for Xbox One and PlayStation Network for PS4 are basically kind of a mess. You want to know why? DRM. So, yes, I wasn't entirely surprised with that. He said the PS4 was going to have DRM at one point. I think that's sort of a given. Yeah, or even though Sony didn't outright say that they were going to do it, it's sort of a little hard to think that Microsoft's going to do it and Sony wasn't. Um, in other words, the whole surprise of PS PS4 DRM just doesn't seem that surprising. But the thing is, the reason why Watch Dogs and also the Crew and Drive Club for the PS4, he's saying, this video is on YouTube, that the reason the games are delayed is because the PS4 or PSN for PS4 and Xbox Live for Xbox One are a complete mess because they have to be practically rebuilt now because of the whole DRM debacle. So the reason why I'd see that as a little more viable, because it doesn't look like Ubisoft's trying to whore as much money out as possible. With this, it looks like Watch Dogs having that whole online component with going into other people's games. Yeah, I sort of need a stable network for that to work out pretty well. So I like this reason because it seems like we'd have to delay the game because it won't work with how Microsoft and Sony have their networks, thanks to trying to be evil corporations. Whereas their original statement of, oh, we're just trying to get as much money out by timing it. So yeah, but the thing that also irks me about this all is that what I have respect for Microsoft for the whole DRM is that they came out outright and said, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is what's going to happen. Whereas Sony tried to be that child where don't ask, don't tell. Even though I don't remember them mentioning their whole DRM thing back in February, and this whole thing didn't really become an issue until the Xbox One reveal in May. So that's just sort of a confusing time gap there. The point is, I sort of have a little bit of respect for Microsoft, where Sony was just hiding it this whole time. In fact, it sort of ticked me off a lot. I went, well, I shouldn't say a lot, since I sort of, like most, I guess, educated guesses. I mean, come on, some people half expected Sony to do the DRM thing, so I guess it doesn't come as a major surprise, but even though Microsoft seemed like they ruined themselves big time, I do like the fact that they outright say, here's what we're doing, where Sony was like, silence. So, as much as I like to possibly get the Xbox One, I'll have to say one, my money's right down the PS4. Even though now I'm going to have a bitter face at Sony for trying to give me the middle finger behind the back. And unfortunately, the only game worth the Xbox One, in my opinion now, is Crimson Dragon. And that isn't even going to be out for a little while. So, if I get the Xbox One, I might in the future. Now that I know Sony was trying to hoodwink me. Wow, I never thought I'd say that word. And Microsoft was come out being a little more truthful from the start. Not only that, the whole PS4 not being able to actually capture footage, because Sony is still frickin' evil, that HDCP. Even though they're fixing it later, the point is they are secretly doing screw-ups around the PS4. They're just doing a really good job keeping a tight lip on it. Whereas Microsoft, I like the fact that they're coming out right and saying, here's what we're doing. And to think, if they didn't do that when they were developing the 360 all those years ago, this console, even though it was sort of weaker than the PS3, would have been even more weaker. I think the console had less RAM, but Microsoft said, hey, here's what we're doing. Then the developers, I think it was for Gears of War, said, this game is not going to run on this console if you don't fix it. So they fixed it. Sort of like now how they fixed the whole DRM thing. So, at most, I have to say, after finding out this bit of news with Sony, I'm actually starting to favor Microsoft again. I mean, yes, I know there's this whole stink about them sucking the whole DRM thing, but at least they weren't trying to pull a middle finger behind your back, unlike Sony, which was trying to hide it. Well, whatever. I have the PS4 down, so I'm gonna have to live with that while I secretly glare at them behind my back. But at least now, if I get the Xbox One, I'll feel like a little more respectful towards Microsoft than Sony at this point. So, yeah, this whole launch of the next-gen consoles keep doing 180s back and forth, and this is just getting ridiculous. At least if there's one thing I could say, Nintendo is probably the safest bet, as they don't really backpedal or don't really do anything bad from the beginning. I mean, yeah, the Wii U is sort of sucking now in terms of its library, but hey, at least they didn't pull any of this BS while we were leading up to the console. Unlike now, where you see Microsoft and Sony constantly doing their 180s. Well, that's all I wanted to say. Basically, that's the reason I'm going to swallow for the Watch Dogs getting delayed. And also now Sony sucks once more. So peace, or should I say balance, is restored in my universe. Because I never thought I'd side with Sony. But after this, I have no regrets siding with Microsoft once more. So yeah, that'll be all.